I'm Scott Wright at the Oklahoman, joined by John Helsley. We're here at Boone Pickens Stadium. Oklahoma State just suffered a 44-31 defeat to number 16 TCU. Rough day from the start for the Cowboys, John, and it didn't get much better after that. 10 points in the first half. Tried to make a run late, but still couldn't get going. The first half, really a lot of miscues that really cost them.
Well, you said it right. It was rough from the start, and the Cowboys really looked out of sorts, I thought, for much of the first half. Didn't look like themselves. I thought TCU looked more like the Cowboys than the Cowboys did. There were mistakes. There were a lot of penalties. There were some turnovers, and, they could just really never recover from that. They made a pretty good run in the second half, but, again, some mistakes caught up to them, and they go down for the first time this year.
James Washington had his one big play that he always has. He had several catches, but one big play, the 86-yard touchdown catch, that made you think that maybe this team was going to get things going at that point. But Kenny Hill and TCU, too consistent with what they were doing, both run and pass, to let Oklahoma State get off the field. Third down's a huge issue for the Oklahoma State defense once again.
It was a huge issue, and way too many third down conversions allowed. I think a lot of that goes back to the first half when some mistakes kept the OSU defense on the field for a long time. I think they were fatigued, not only in the first half but after that. And, Kenny Hill and TCU, very balanced, ran the ball extremely well, 238 yards. It's a lot of yards on the ground against OSU. And Kenny Hill didn't have spectacular stats, but he managed the game really well, and he made the big throws a lot of times on third down when they had to have them.
For a season that began and had carried so much hype through the first three games, a team that was competing for or wanting to compete for championships, whether it be Big 12 or the college football playoff, crippled things a little bit here today. Mike Gundy stepped up to the podium and took ownership of it really quickly, said that it was lack of discipline, critical mistakes, and that they were outcoached today.
We didn't play very smart and very disciplined, and really we got outcoached. I thought that they had better plans and their players executed their plans better than we did. In looking at it from the outside without watching the tape, early in the game we made a couple decisions that weren't very good and kind of set us behind the eight ball, and then we turned the ball over. They did a good job with the run. They rushed for 238 yards. I mean, way too many rush yards. A little bit over 4 yards a carry or so. So this was the first game that we didn't defend the run very well. And in the big picture, in most cases, if you don't defend the run very well, you're kind of on your heels. And then offensively, we turned the ball over. We had a few drops, and we didn't protect as well as we needed to at times.
Third down, we were 50%, which is not good. That's not the goal, but critical time of the game there. Most of those turnovers were penalties were defensive penalties that kept drives alive. They came out and it was wide open in their attack, and I think we had some kids didn't get adjusted well to some of their motions, and so that's collective accountability. We all got a piece of it. We all own it. So a lot to learn from.
They did a nice job mixing in their coverages to where at times they gave us run boxes, numbers. I had to take advantage of those, and we had to stay patient. We had to move the chains, and they did a nice job executing. We didn't execute as well. He did a good job calling it. I didn't call it as well. Those combinations, are ingredients for what happened today. And you got to tip their hat. They played a very good ball game. They're a very good defense, and so they did a nice job, and we've got to do a better job.
Generally, when you look downfield today, was it just not much there? Was it?
I think I think we had a lot of kind of the turbo, tempo plays that we try to take advantage of. And you saw the first one there to James, and then they made a great adjustment and started double covering those guys. And we, like I said, we kind of got behind the chains there late. We were trying to take shots, and they were doing a good job of taking it away, taking the deep stuff away, and we didn't really have as many answers, in the intermediate game, and so, it's a collective offensive deal. It's all, everyone, there was mistakes all across the board, so, and TCU played great, so. That's the kind of deal.
You ran really hard and tough out there today. Was that sort of the style of game that this dictated?
I mean, you just got to take whatever the game gives you. Sometimes you don't have to do all this. Sometimes you do. And whenever we're in this situation, you got to make plays. And so I was trying to go out there and make plays. So that's what that was.
We understood that this is a Big 12 game, and it wasn't going to the ball wasn't going to just roll out for us, and we were going to win. So. I mean, we didn't help ourselves any on defense. We had a lot of really big penalties that kept drives alive and turned into points for them early. And we just gotta keep focusing and fix the little small things, because all the small things that we kept doing in the first half and a little bit in the second half, that came back to bite us.
Well, I think we were prepared. I think we had a good game plan coming in, but they're a good team as well. They had a good game plan as well. And, some things like the ball just didn't fall our way a few times, and some things weren't exactly how we planned it to go. So, I mean, we'll get in, watch film, and just correct some things.
All right, John, now they go on the road to Texas Tech, a team that's better than maybe we thought a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they win a tough game at Houston, into a 16-game home winning streak for Houston down there. And Tech apparently played some defense, which is a really stunning development in the Big 12. So we'll see. I don't know how much of an aberration that was or wasn't. OSU has pretty much owned Texas Tech in the Big 12. They need to get a win. They're going to go on the road again. This will be sort of a recheck time for the Cowboys, I think.
For John Helsley, I'm Scott Wright. Keep it on newsok.com and check the Oklahoman for all of your Oklahoma State football coverage.